Hello, Tune here again with another video. This time I'm going to do a hardware review, sort of gameplay review of my MB Games Vectrex. This is a very unique little system that came out in 1982. It lasted for about 2 years, unfortunately, and then they were all sold off. And I think there was something along the lines of 20 games released for it. A load of homebrew games and some various other things, but so as you see, I got a box version. The box is a little bit tatty, but considering how old it is, it's not too bad. This is a quite unique system. Is the fact that you didn't need a TV. It was you had the TV built in, and you had a console, as you can see on the box there. So if we pan across to the console, there's the console itself. It's looks like a mini arcade cab, I suppose. Pretty much like one of those cabs you get for your iPhone or iPad. As you can see, it's basically a vector graphics monitor, so it does all those really sharp, high definition lines. High definition for its day, anyway. And say if we go a little bit, it might be a bit awkward to do this while I'm going. If you flip this down, I had a joypad connected on the inside. If I zoom into the joypad, so a 4-button joypad. What's interesting about this joypad, that it's a full analog stick on you. People say, oh, the SNES, the N64 was the first console to have true analog. Well, that's a load of bollocks in it. There's loads of other consoles on analog years ago, and Vectrex is one of them. I've actually taken one of these sticks apart, and on the inside it looks very similar to an N64 controller. But yeah, it's got a full analog stick with a spring on it. It springs back. I don't know if you can see in there. You can see a couple of knobs. You've got room for an extra controller, and you've got it's like a reset switch or an on switch. And that's pretty much it for the unit. There's nothing else special about it other than there's a screen. As you can see Mindstorm on the screen. And if I go a little bit closer, the screens came with overlays. If I pull this off, this is what the Vectrex actually looks like without the overlay on it. Each game comes with its own specific overlay, which are different colours or whatever, that made the screen a little bit more interesting. This is the original overlay that came with the machine. Apparently incredibly rare, because most people lost them. So this overlay is in pretty damn good nick. So if I can they literally just slot onto the machine like so. So if I turn the machine on, to give you an idea, Vectrex has got a nice hum to them. As you can see, you got the nice blue screen, and you got I'll go a little bit closer. I say this is the inbuilt game called Mindstorm, which is basically a take on Asteroids, which is actually better than Asteroids, I would say. This is actually pretty good fun to play. As you can see, the Vectrex, for his age, had some fantastic zooming effects. With the ship coming down, as you can see. It's quite impressive for 1982. I don't know whether I can be able to play this. If I slot you down by here, which hopefully will give you an idea of what the screen looks like. And I can at least attempt to play it. I think that's the game that came out. You can boost on you, you can blow the ships up. Apparently there's a bug that I don't think it can get past level 12, I believe. I could be wrong on that one. And if you were around it at the time and you figured that out, you could write into MB Games and they would give you an actual replacement cartridge with the bug fixed, so you could get past that level. But obviously this is the internal one, so this one's got the same bug as well. As you can see, it's like Asteroids, but it's a bit better. It's got some nice little ideas. It's got ships that follow you around. You've got home in, fire in, and it's actually, even to these days, it's a pretty cool game. So we'll leave that. We'll leave that running, and I'll show you how the games came. Say, each of the games, as you can see, I got a few here. I got a few box games. Each one of these games have got the overlays to go with them as well. Hyper Chase is a really mad looking racing game, especially for its time. Say Berserker is an old arcade game, which is pretty cool. Clean Sweepers is like a sort of take on Pac-Man. The original arcade Scramble, which I've got 2 overlays for that actually. This is what the overlays look like. They're basically thin, like acetate, really thick acetate sheets. They're quite flexible, as you can see. See, this one's got a bit of a crack at the top, and like, so that's the one for Scramble. That's the overlay for, if I turn it the right way, Starhawk. So you get your 2-player options, you need different colours or whatever. And that's the overlay for Spike, which is, I think, one of the most rarest games on the machine. It's like a platform game with speech on it. I'll have to show you that. It's pretty cool, like. So that's the overlay for Spike. This is what the cartridges look like. That's upside down. That's what the cartridges look like. A Vectrex cassette, MB. Got a weird slot. The cartridge slot on the machine is on the side of the machine. So, I'll put you down again a second. If I turn this off, plug the cartridge in the side and turn it back on. I'll turn this up so you can hear a pretty amazing speech for its time. I've actually got 2 of these machines. The first one I bought, I played it for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it died. And it had frame claps on the screen, and okay. So using like, it's like a 3D platform game. You've got to move the ladder around, get up to the top. I'll have a quick run through of some of the games in a minute. Yeah, so my second machine, say the first one I bought, it had frame claps on it. I think it needs a cap replacement. I've still got it. When I get around to it, I'll change the caps and then hopefully that'll fix it. But I don't know if I can get so close to see. You can see how it generates the lines. Darn it. There's Spikeler. And if I take the overlay off, I'll show you what it looks like without the overlay. I don't know if you can, it shows how the lines are being drawn. When you actually look at the screen, it's not showing it on the video, but it's really clear. It's very flicky, but it's very clear. I say old Vectrex monitors were always super sharp for what they were. Darn it! So anyway, so I'll put it down a second. So if I can get you a bit more central, a bit awkward here to try and get to show you some of the games. But so that's the overlays. So that's the screen without the overlays. So what we'll do, I'll put the Mindstorm one back on for now. Actually, what I'll do, I'll show you Hyper Chase, which is surprisingly amazing for its time. Plug on the side. I'll find the overlay, which is in here somewhere. So my boxes are a little bit tatty, but they do come with the original paper sleeves to keep the overlays in good condition. Right, so I'll turn Hyper Chase on. So I'll pick it back up again now and see if you're going to run through a demo of Hyper Chase. No mind luck now, it's not going to run through the demo, but no, it's not. If I can hold down, and see if I can hold down the playing with one hand is hard work. Probably best if I put it on. So I'll put it back on here a minute. Hopefully you can still see the screen. You see some of the for this time, some very impressive graphics. Go zooming in trees. This game is nuts hard as well. Here, different buttons change your gears. You even release pole position on this machine. The controls are very sensitive with the analog, as you just seen. As you can see, you can hold it in different places, like a proper analog controller. I like the way the roads, you know, they'll go through a tunnel. I like the way the road spins around. Oh. But anyway, that's Hyper Chase, so I'll turn that off a second. I'll put the overlay back away and I'll show you another special piece of kit I've got for this. Right, the other thing I've got for this system is, I don't know if you can, actually if I put it the right way around, might help. Yeah. There's a 72-in-1 multi-cart, which is well handy, so we'll plug this thing in. What this has got is all the official games released on the machine, plus all the demos. It's got all the unreleased games, plus it's got all the games that people released after the machine, and people were releasing games up to a few years ago as well. Only problem with this multi-cart is you've got to listen to this every time you turn it on. See if I can zoom you in a little bit. No, I can't. For some reason I can't zoom you in. So what I'll do, I'll put the original overlay back on. If I can find the original overlay, of course. So we put the original overlay on, which works quite well for most games, to be honest. Music does get annoying pretty quick. Yeah. Just find something to prop it up a little bit further. Give it a bit of a straighter look. If I turn it, yeah, that'll give you a better look. Anyway, so I don't know if you can see on screen, now it says it's got Armour Attack, it's got Bedlam, Berserk, Clean Sweep, Cosmic Chase, various other games. If I go down, so I can show you pole position. See if we can get a bit of pole position going. Can't remember which button starts it. That's it, and the button does it is. Looks like Mount Fuji in the background. You see it's the original arcade but it's slightly different to the arcade, but still pretty cool. Especially considering this thing came out in 1982. It's got some pretty amazing things on the the vector graphics look well sharp, and the zooming effects is something pretty amazing for a console for that age. Especially pretty decent speech as well. So that's pole position, so I'm going to crash into this car now. Give this a reset. So what you got to do is turn it off, turn it back on to get into the other games. You see, with the Vectrex, it's a really nice collectible piece, and if you can get one that's boxed as well, which are quite unusual these days. I know my box is a bit tatty, but it does the job. You know, it still looks pretty cool. So let's have a look. Let's have a go with something. Let's try Scramble, the arcade Scramble game. So you'd be surprised how good these analog sticks are. The bomb them for your the fuel. So you can see this, you know, it's pretty much like the arcade version of Scramble. So a lot of people don't really know about the Vectrex at the time, like, and you know, to think about it, I wish I had one at the time. I would have been well impressed with this. The guy who bought it off as well had it since he was about 8 years old. He was storing it at his mother's house and ran out of room to store it, so he flogged it onto me. So a bit like at some point I'll get my other one up and running. So that's Scramble. That's enough. See, at retrotowers.co.uk sells these multi-cards, but if you have a look around on Google, you can actually get it from the manufacturer, which they're a little bit cheaper. That's where I got mine from. I think he's in France. I'm not entirely sure. But if I go right per year, you got original 3G mapping games. This also had like a light pen you could use to draw on the screen. So it's got, and it was also 3D as well. There was like a 3D accessory, like glasses you could get, and you had 3D games on this machine as well. Which I haven't got that accessory, but it would be pretty cool to see what it looked like. So you got the light pen games. It's no good, I haven't got a light pen. Apparently you could make it home. It's not too hard. So that's the original games modded, and this is unreleased games. So you got Dark Towers, Engine Analyzer, whatever that is. Yeah, this is the sequel to Mindstorm. Apparently this never actually got released. It's pretty much very similar to the original Mindstorm, except it does have a little bit more variety in it. It's definitely harder. I have no idea why they didn't release it. I don't know whether the Vectrex, you know, became unpopular. Let's see if I can clear the level. I'm fighting pretty fast in this. Dead. So say that's Mindstorm 2. So there was a couple of unreleased games. They're all on this cartridge. Bit of a pain, this menu, mind you. You have to listen to this every time. So they're the unreleased games. Berserk. There's a version of Berserk, debugged version. There's a couple of versions of Mindstorm 2, slightly different hacked versions. Narrow Escape. There's a Star Trek game on here as well. Series. Homebrew games. So a lot of people released quite a few games here, like City Bomber, Hangman is there. Why do you want to play Hangman? I have no idea. Let's have a look. Spike. There's a couple of hacked versions of Spike. V Frogger. Let's try that out. Look at that. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. The writing's morphing. Well, he doesn't look like a frog, but there. But yeah, Frogger. That's pretty cool. I don't know what he's supposed to be morphing into, mind. Frogger reaches his home. Now it's going to get a bit more difficult. Ah. Oh, he did reach before I died there. Will I complete the level? Yeah, so that's a homebrew game of Frogger. There's quite a few homebrew games on this cartridge. I say these Vectrex, they're getting very collectible these days, especially some of the games if you've got them boxed and you've got the overlays as well. They're the things that ended up going missing. So, let's see what else we got. So we got homebrew games, homebrew game demos. So there's homebrew game demos on here. So that's the complete list of homebrew games. V-Pong. Vector Vaders. Let's have a quick look at this then. 12 years has passed since the release of any new Vectrex games. Ah, so Space Invaders on the Vectrex. I can't move. Ah, right. Old classic style. Buttons for left and right. And for fire. Yep, that's pretty slow. It's a bit too slow. Might change the overlay just for the hell of it. Let's put the Hyper Chase one on yet. Yeah. Now everything goes green. Alright, let's have a look at Berserk. I'll show you a bit of Berserk. Classic arcade game. Yeah, that was a good start. I got killed straight away. This is actually pretty cool on the Vectrex. With the analog controller, it works really well. So I don't think the Vectrex had a super fast processor for this day. Oh shit, I think he's going to kill me. Run away! Run away! I think you've got a bit of a time limit. Ooh. Oh shit. That bouncing thing's a bit of a nightmare. So actually got to be quick for the levels. So that's Berserk.
Come and try this curry a minute.
Can we record in a minute? Who told you that? Right, so we try another original game now. Fortress of Nazod. This is actually pretty cool. It's a shooter where you can bounce your firing off the walls. Gotta watch you can kill yourself though. Can I see myself behind that wall? Oh, that's pretty cool. It does actually blank you out a little bit when you're behind the wall. So the Vectrex is quite an unusual collectible. You don't find many people who have them. I wouldn't mind getting the point of fixing my other one. I just need to buy a full set of capacitors for it. Hopefully that'll do the job. So that's Fortress of Nazod. One thing you get with these games is they are really playable. These controls work really well, the games play really well. Obviously they're very basic for these days, but for their time, they were quite impressive. Cosmic Chasm, this is quite cool as well. There's a lot of the Minesweeper type games on here. This one is you've got a grid of different levels, so you pick a level. It's like a shoot 'em up, and you've got different doors to go through. And the bit in the middle is getting bigger, so I'm going to go through. Shit, I can't remember how to do the doors now. Oh, I think you've got to drill the doors actually. That's it. Okay, this game uses all 4 buttons. You've got a shield. And if I go by here, that's it. You drill the doors. You can make yourself around. I'm not quite sure what the aim is here, where to get on the map. Right, let's go up here. That takes me almost to the middle. Damn. Trying to get out of the way, that's hard work. So it's the end. Damn. But yeah, you've got to get close to the doors and you drill the doors. I'll show you one more game. Try and keep this video about half hour. Right, let's have a look. What else we got here? Fortress, Heads Up, Paper Chains. Star Castle, Starhawk. Let's do Star Trek and Star Trek the game. Ready, Captain? Here you can see this is a 3D bit like sort of Star Wars. Kill the Klingon ships. Ooh, very difficult. Ooh, what that does. There's a mothership or something then. I think that like locks you on a bit to the ships. Oh. Oh, got a warp. What's that do? Ooh. Oh, different ships. Jeez, that was fast. But anyway, so that's the Vectrex. What I say about this machine, it's a bit expensive to collect for. They are quite expensive to get hold of. especially boxed. But if you can get one in a multi-card, they're pretty cool. They're a nice little collectible. They look pretty cool on the shelf. The only thing I will say, they are prone to failures because they're very, very basic technology, but they're a bit old these days. So if you do get one, get a working one. If you get a chance to try it out for 20 minutes or whatever before you buy it, that's a good idea. Overall, a very nice collectible, a very cool machine. If you're into collecting really old games and machines, you can't really go wrong with Vectrex. Obviously there's no PS4, but for an old collectible machine, I would recommend it. And you'd be surprised, obviously this video doesn't show it, be surprised how good it actually looks for this age. So anyway guys, that's the Vectrex. I definitely say I'd recommend it, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye bye.